honorable delegates and participants on the dais and in the hall. My task has been made very, very easy by the former Chief Election Commissioner. I would only like to say that my colleague, my senior colleague here from Chief Election Commissioner, he was saying that working for such a long time, you are something like a fish in the water. But as we don't want to become frog in the well, so definitely we need to look forward. I can only say that about the ethical voting, that elections with the deficit of election ethical component is like a vehicle moving not in the right direction. So hence, we are talking of the third dimension of the election management, which is a very, very important dimension. Here we are talking of basically three kinds of things which we have discussed today. The informed and inclusive election, which is definitely bringing everybody on board for registration and participation, informed, know about all the electoral process, about the party's electoral process, about the time and place of election, and all the information one requires. But the top one is the ethical. Ethical is the third dimension, and I think if it is not ethical, it's something like encephalitis, which influences your brain. So if it is your brain is influenced, though you don't candidate a right candidate. So hence there is a need for the importance of the ethical voting. I would only like to highlight that with the influenced election or the inducement. Induced election, it is something like a vicious cycle. I would like to show here the cycle. The candidate and political parties who start giving some kind of gifts, money, liquor, feast, whatever. So this, once it is given to the voter, the demand is more. Like in Hindi we say, dil mange more. So you want more. 500 rupees has been given. Then next time you want 1,000. Next other time you want 5,000. And if you have some small gift has been given, you want a larger gift. So this becomes a kind of vicious cycle. So now how to make it into a virtuous cycle? Now our effort here by the voters' education is to make this vicious cycle into a virtuous cycle. How we can do it? We'll just show you in this slide by a very quick case study, how we have planned. So basically, once we start all our initiatives and efforts by educating the voter, also educating the stakeholders, political parties, we are going to break this. Like for voters, pledge not to note, and then that affects the political parties, and they also have no incentive to influence the voters. So here, what we are saying that anything which is inducement, anything which is for the inducement, that is what we need to stick. And I would also like to say that is not a very easy subject. It is something like truth which you normally don't like to follow, but you have to be very hard to follow. So in the same way, ethical voting requires a stick and carrot policy. It requires a very strict regime by taking necessary punitive, preventive action. At the same time, you require carrot. A very good educational, input for in all pervasive way, which we have already discussed here. In the informal system of education, formal system of education, building from the school onwards. Unless you build in your child, then the ethical component cannot come. So it has to be started from very beginning of life. I think home and school are probably the two major institutions which contributes in the building of a person's mind and personality. So when we are talking about this, it is not only the material component, it is also a moral component, which is very, very important. So when we are talking of ethical, we are giving a message to the voter that your vote is not only for yourself. Your vote is for the future of your children. It is for your future. And that is how we are building the entire campaign, our preparation for the voters' education on the basis of this. The rest of it are the illustrations. Different countries, different EMVs are different in their own ways. But this is the basic, this is the foundation block which every country, every EMV has to build. Unless this is built, all will remain a story and things will go on as it is. So, and I would also like to state that all the EMBs are in melting pot. I mean, like we say that Himalayas, which is the largest and the tallest mountain, whether it is old or young. But those who know the geology and they know the geography, they know that Himalaya is a young mountain. It is still rising and emerging. So we cannot say that for the older democracy, the concern of ethical voting is not there. It is equally a concern. For the more younger democracy, it will be more a challenge. But the challenge remains in many developed countries, maybe in a very sophisticated, subtle way. In the other form, it may be very, very crude way. But this is something which exists everywhere. So we have in Indian perspective, we have the entire punitive and preventive arrangement. We have a unique model code of conduct, which guides the behavior and the conduct of the political parties during the election. Even during the pre-election, we have a comprehensive arrangement, but still we are building it up. We are developing it. We cannot say that we are totally developed in our framework. We are still developing, and we hope that will further strengthen. If you see the framework of India, how large it is, it has been already said by our Chief Election Commissioner. But definitely, I think larger the democracy, larger the constituencies, larger would be the issue and problems, and the complexities would be there. So we are trying to, I would like to show here the case study, and I also request Rajesh to come just quickly for a minute. We started a campaign this campaign which we are doing, I think Tamil Nadu, which is a state, as in charge of the state, and he is the CEO, we made a very comprehensive plan that we should have a new method to inculcate education of ethical voting. So we started, these are the things, we first of all started with the national and state icons that they will promote by their own messages. So these are the famous cricketer, all the personalities here in different subtle ways, by way of cartoon, by way of other hoardings and other. Here we have in Tamil Nadu, they had all the personalities. So I have to run it through, so I am not so different ways. But here I would like to show you very, very special thing. I think it is a unique innovation in the world, where we started a pledge by the candidates. The candidates who themselves vote and come that I will take this pledge. And they will give in writing, they will take a pledge. The moment they take it pledge, at the time of nomination itself, in a kiosk, the media comes and takes the interview, covers it, and it is shown all over the country. So these are the people. So how a person who is taking a pledge before everybody, a moral pledge that he will not induce any voter, will have courage to give such influence. So this is a very good example. I think it may be replicated everywhere. And here you could see that even the stakeholders, like all the stakeholders, they are taking this pledge. And, all the messages given at different levels. So, this is a pledge. The citizen of India, having faith in democracy, hereby pledge to vote ethically, upholding the democratic tradition of my country and the dignity of the free, fair, and peaceful election. I promise to vote in this election honestly, fearlessly, without taking money, and without being influenced by any undue inducement. So while to the candidates, we said that you will not give money, to the people, to voters, we said that will not take money. So this had definitely a very good effect. And we used all kinds of social media technology to do that. I would just like Rajesh to come here, because he worked so hard, and I think it was a unique and novel experiment we did. I think we wish to carry out this in all our future elections. I think that would lead a way. So thank you very much, sir. I wanted to stop here and